Very good day. I'm demonstrating now some of the ESG reporting capabilities that we have developed. In this case, we're implementing a European set of regulations. However, we can adjust these to any regulations that you like. There are some key elements in our tool. One element is data collection. In this particular European regulations, there are two types of modules: basic modules and comprehensive modules. The basic modules are mandatory, comprehensive modules are optional. So once you've completed your data collection, you then get to your report configuration. You indicate colors, fonts, you put in your company statement, executive summary, any kind of specific introductions you would like for various chapters or sections of the report, and then you can put your historical trends if optionally. Those are not required, but those are optional. Once that has been configured, you can then generate report in various formats. You can put an HTML format, which also under the hood contains XBRL format that can be exchanged, which is an universal business exchange format that is also machine readable. Or you can put a Word document output. The PDF is basically printing out the HTML version. I will demonstrate that in a minute. So the first section is all about data collection, and we have developed a very structured way to indicate this. So there's various modules. This is module number 1. This is one of the most steps that are available. You can go next, and finish, and etc. You can indicate all these things. These all implement specific regulations for the European Union. But it requires a lot of data collection that is applicable in basically any ESG report. This is, for example, which sectors are you active? What is the size of your company? Which countries are you mainly operating in? What kind of subsidiaries do you have? This is a very simple subsidiary, but we have implemented very complicated subsidiary structures with subsidiaries, etc., with daughters that have daughters themselves. You can implement what are the key sites, are they, and later on you indicate whether or not they're near sensitive areas, whether there's a lot of water withdrawal. You can plot those sites on a map, like so. You can, at any point in time, you can add comments, you can flag for follow-up, you can attach files. These files can either be links to external documents, or you can upload specific files that are attached to that particular part of the data collection. Apart from sites, there are also assets. Here you see an overview of various assets. That can be ships, head offices, this can be a fleet of cars. And in this case you enter various certifications that you have to comply with, and then you indicate whether or not you have a valid certification in place that is relevant for the particular regulation that you are complying with. And then you finish this, and this is the basic structure of any of these modules. Now some of these modules are quite short. Here you have a number of these, quite a lot of less steps. Here I flagged this one for follow-up, so we need to discuss this later. And this is then indicated here as well with the flag. And then when we go to the overview, here you see it's flagged here also. So if you are working on a collaborative issue, or you're working through the whole data collection and you don't quite know what to fill in yet, or you need to discuss it, you can flag it for follow-up, and it's indicated in the overview that you still have to do some work there. Now, in this particular case, you see B5 and C4 modules. They were disabled, and that's because we've decided in the omissions not to do B5 and C4, because we feel they are not relevant for this particular report, and that will then be excluded in this case from the various from the modules here. You can see they're excluded here and excluded there as well. So that is data collection. There's a lot more to be said here, but that data collection is of course the key and the foundation stone of your ESG reporting. Now when it comes to colors and fonts, you can adjust their colors, you can adjust the fonts. This is mostly and only actually for the HTML output. You can also indicate which images you have, so you can put in what's your logo, your cover page for the report. You can also indicate how you would like your sites to be portrayed. So if I go here, I can say, well, I actually also want to view this. I save it, and then you can see it's updated here. I still need to click save to make sure that that is finalized, and then I've updated the images. Now the CEO or whoever is the main person responsible for the report can issue a company statement, and that is something that you can put in here. You can also upload a CEO image optionally, or whoever is responsible for that particular report. Now the executive summary, we use so you can either put that in totally manually yourself, or we can upload the generated Word document to OpenAI and generate an executive summary for you. Now, of course, we make sure that that data will not be used for training purposes, so we've excluded that in our subscription with OpenAI, that our data cannot be used for that. You can also adjust the prompt if you want here, and then once that is done, you can say, okay, I agree. You can generate an AI summary, and it will take a little while to generate, approximately 20 or 30 seconds. And then you can adjust that however you like. And that here you see it has generated a new summary. I said, well, you can review that. I'm happy with it. I'm going to click save, and that will save that executive summary. There's also ESG introductions. These are all optional fields because the Word document has key chapters for E, S, and G, and you can put any kind of introductory text that will be included in the report. In this case, I've not entered any. And last, there are also some historical trends that you can put in. This could be for emissions, for pollutants, for historical water use, and this is so you can indicate what kind of trends there might be for these particular data points. So you can see either improvements or deteriorations. So it's always quite insightful. So that is the report configuration side. Now when we get to the reporting side, I'll first demonstrate to you the HTML version. This is the HTML version of the site. You can see you've got the CEO, you've got the executive summary section, and in the HTML version all these have links. So if I click on this, it could go straight back to the executive summary. Yeah. If I go back to the CEO, to the report, it will go straight back there, and it's all fully interactive. So if I see a data point as I read the report that is not quite right, or for example this list of sites isn't quite right, I go straight to the sites, I can adjust the data, and then it will be immediately updated. And this is very useful for building that report, because it's totally interactive. It's, oh, this is not quite right. I'll have to go there, and it will update. You can adjust all the relevant information for your emissions in this particular case. Yeah. Now, in this particular case, it's indicated that the totals don't quite make sense based on the data. So I can say, okay, I'll copy the data down here, and now it's updated, and then you see this automatically turns green, and then say, okay, that's fine, it's all good now. If you want to know what is the source of these emission factors, in this case we're referring to Dutch regulations, because that was what the use case required. You can also generate a much more detailed emissions report based on all the input on the previous screens. And if we go next, we go back here, and all the numbers have been adjusted. So that is the HTML output, which of course you can print to PDF. There's a shortcut link to do that with this here. Now there's a Word output also. Now the Word output, if I click on that, it takes a little while to generate, but there it's done. And if I click yes, you see it generates a full Word document with all the relevant information. There's a good table of contents here. You can click around and there here you see the various information around energy and greenhouse gas emissions. It contains all the comments, and well, obviously you can adjust this according to your company template and company house template. So this is a quick overview of the ESG reporting capabilities that we have. Now your regulations will probably be different, and so the data collection and report configuration might be different, but it gives you a look and feel of how that would work and how user-friendly this is and how well this works. Thank you very much.